All right, guys, welcome to week 2 of Drew's View as the storylines are beginning to flood the Super League basketball. And here's what caught my eye. Some big-time performances across the league, but there were only a couple that made it to my star watch. So we got to go down to Manchester and kick things off with the point guard, Patrick, a.k.a. PJ Smith Jr. Big-time performance on the road in Surrey, 34 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, in only his second professional game. He's already eclipsed a career high, but it was the 8 threes. PJ was cooking from downtown, and the only bright spot for Manchester because they only combined for 2 made threes with the rest of the squad. But what was really impressive was 5 out of the 8 bombs were all off the dribble. So a big-time performance by the little man out of Furman. All right, let's head over to Bristol, where on Sunday, when I kept checking in on this game, all I kept hearing was, Will Yoakum laces it up again. And boy, what a big-time performance. 29 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 steals. But what he showed is when the money's on the line, when it's game time, when you need a get-out-of-jail card, when you need somebody to step up, he can get the job done. 16 points in the fourth quarter to snatch the victory away from the Leicester Riders. And this performance is no fluke. Keep your eyes open on Will. 7 from 11 from downtown so far this season. And when he was in college, he went 36-0 to win a chip. So he's a proven win. 53% from downtown, which led all players in Division 2, in Division 1. So Will Yoakum, I got my eye on you. And finally on Drew's watch, big men need love too. So let's give Brett Reed a shout out. 14 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Plus 25 in that game. And why is that important? Because the previous Sunday, he was a minus 15 in Caledonia, was unplayable in that game, and got benched. And what I was impressed with on Friday was the bounce back ability. That's what being a professional is all about. It ain't about pouting and sitting there and being in your feelings. It's about getting on the court and being productive. And so the big man showed all the enthusiasm. And most importantly, he showed you that he was pissed off that he was benched. And so I love that, Brett. Keep that up. And hopefully more to come. All right, let's get to news around the league. And, you know, I got to right my wrongs with the Surrey 89ers because it was you that I picked to finish 9th and to be sitting there holding the wooden spoon. But it was you that proved me wrong after that big-time performance against Manchester basketball in the dub 94-80. But I was really impressed with the guards, Isaiah Small, Ronald Polite III, and Kino Lilly Jr. They showed composure. That's something we haven't seen out of the Surrey franchise over the last couple of years. Usually games like this, they fold, they throw it away, they give it up, and they have the inability to close the deal. Well, I saw some glimpse in this team that things could be changing for the Surrey franchise. Now, I think there might be a little bit of promise there. Next up, let's go back to Bristol, where now, during the week, they picked up a huge victory in the ENBL, 90-78 against the Captainburg Bulls on the road, and that is 5 consecutive European Northern Basketball League wins dating back to last season. And so it feels like they figured out a recipe for success in Europe. And if this team can stay healthy, I could definitely see them making some noise. It was Will Yoakum, of course, getting the job done. Cam Holden flirting with a triple-double. So shout out to the Bristol franchise, because we know when it comes to European play, we are all fans of British teams. So keep up the good work. Okay, let's head over to the capital and show the London Lions some love, because they have a formal post-game presser, which in my time in the British League is unprecedented. And I love it because it brings professionalism to the SLB. One thing that did catch my eye was avid London Lions fan St. Pat. And I will quote at the end of the press conference, London Lions coach Sabonis says he wants more support from the team and he wants to fill out the copper box. Well, it works both ways, coach. If you want support, you have to earn it. And your players walking off the court, it necessarily gonna get it done. And you know what, St. Pat? I agree with you. Full context, I wasn't there. I didn't see it. I'm just trusting what you saw there with your own eyes. And Coach Sabonis, London Lions franchise, you know all about growing that fan base. You've done a great job over the last couple of years. And so you must ensure that after every game, you allow players to sign autographs, to take pictures, to engage with fans, because if you want to grow the fan base, you have to establish a relationship. So let's just hope it's an aberration, it's teething problems, and let's hope that the London Lions do better next time. All right, play of the weekend. I got to show some love to my man, Prentiss Nixon, with the half-court bomb. But I was really impressed in how the Sheffield Sharks franchise stepped up, because I was critical of them in week 1, and rightfully so, Sarah. Nothing personal, but your team did bounce back. 93 points to get up the victory against the Leicester Riders. But what was really impressive was, out of 93 points, only 3 of those were fast break points. It just talks about the talent that this team have, the ability to score in the half court. They have so many options, but let's see if that is sustainable throughout the year. Shout out to Prentiss Nixon. Let's stay in Sheffield, because history was witnessed in that game, as we saw 3 former Division I players / BCB on the court at the same time. Newcastle Eagles Mitch Clark, Malcolm Smith, Emmanuel Conway. It's something that I have never seen, and so that is a huge moment. Provides hope to all of those players playing in the BCB that one day that they could step on an SLB coach and provide impact. So there is more opportunity being given. So these guys are setting the standard for the rest of the troops and the future of the SLB. Shout out to those 3 guys. All right, next up, I got to talk about a guy that I have been the biggest advocate for over the last couple of years, LaQuincy Rideau, who got benched on Sunday for Pat Robinson. That is big news, because he is a superstar. He is a franchise player who Ben Thomas made the bold move to sit him down for a little bit. And you know what? It was warranted, because his play to start the SLB campaign has just not been up to par. After 2 games, his assist to turnover ratio was 8-12, 0 for 6 from 3, 0 for 2 from the free throw line, and just not looked like himself. Have not seen that elusiveness, that wiggleness we seen from a couple of years ago. But the bright spot is, defensively, still been getting it done. Just set the all-time record with 12 steals in September, according to the stat guy. So although he's getting things done defensively, as we all expect offensively, gotta step your game up a little bit. But if we date back to history, it seems as though LaQuincy needs to play himself into game shape, because I went back and looked at the stats, and 2 years ago he started off September slowly as well. 4.5 points and 0 for 4 from the free throw line. It wasn't until game number 5 against the Leicester Riders when he exploded for 27 points, and the rest is history. We know what a greater season the Cheshire Phoenix had then. So let's hope LaQuincy will get this thing turned around, and I am confident that he will. That benching will be a wake-up call. Last but not least on Drew's View, and I must address the table official referee situation in the SLB. Now, I have very little context. I have not asked any questions. I understand that it's politics, and so I'm staying out of all of that. All I know is after week 1, I didn't even notice there were different refs. It was brought to my attention. So in week 2, I paid a closer attention. What I noticed is that with the new refs, the calls seem to be a little bit delayed, but that's to be expected. These are men and women who are stepping up to a higher level in the game is a lot faster. All I will say this is I know you have to do what you got to do, and I ain't into all the politics. But the longer that you stay away, the more repetition that it gives the table officials and the referees, and the better they will get, and the quicker people will forget about you. So my advice is, let's come together to a resolution, make this happen. We need the best of the best of the best in our league, And that wraps everything up in week 2 of Drew's View. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. And we will see you guys next week.